Welcome to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma. Today's episode is being filmed at the Gazelle Risk Solutions podcast studio. So this is going to be a dual one. You'll see the episode on our channel, but also their channel too. Gary, thank you so much for hosting me and for inviting me over.
Our pleasure.
You guys are newly Rectools recommended suppliers. I know why, and you guys know why, but this episode is going to be about explaining to people that you guys take something pretty boring, i.e. insurance, and you make it interesting and entertaining because actually you're fully accepting of the fact that this is one of those things that's just a necessary evil, right? A good insurance will save your business in times of need, and a shit insurance policy and setup will be the difference maker between whether or not you come out the other end, right?
Yeah.
So look, first of all, introduce yourselves, tell us a bit about kind of why you guys do what you do, and then we'll jump into some of the cool shit that you guys are doing.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say, so I'm Gary. This is Gary.
We'll go Gary 1, Gary 2.
So I guess OG, as they call me in the business, the original Gaz. So it's sort of the founder, if you like.
My new Gaz.
New Gaz. So Nitin, I must say, first of all, I'm very disappointed when you said we're making insurance fun. We agreed before this it was making insurance sexy.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
So maybe need to go back and read.
Well, look, let's run it back. I've got Gary and Gary here to make insurance sexy.
Not literally, sadly. So look, firstly, great to be here on our own podcast and your podcast, which is pretty cool because we're going to get interviewed and don't have to do all the questions and that, which is great. But I think, look, Gazelle is a young business. People throw around the word boutique these days. It seems for a small business kind of thing, but it is the buzzword. But it's something that we use a lot because we are. We're a young business. We're a relatively small business compared to people that your audience would maybe be familiar with. We were previously in those businesses, so I'm ex-MD of Kingsbridge. Gary will do his own introduction in a second. So we've been around in this space for a number of years. I guess, we set the business up a couple of years ago, and we sort of used the term, with the anti-corporate insurance broker. We follow all the same rules. We're an FCA authorised business. We've got very clear rules and regulations.
For those of you who are listening,
the FCA, HMRC, anybody else out there, we follow the rules. But look, for us, we're a group of people that have all had, senior jobs working in the corporate insurance world. I've done it for 30 odd years, various different businesses, across the UK, done some global stuff, all very exciting, all in a suit. All in a big fancy office, all with massive budgets and everything else. And, running businesses for other people is cool, but running businesses for yourself and actually being able to engage with other business owners, which is what we do for a living, having walked the walk as well as talk the talk, and just making it a little bit more, not about, we sell trust, right? At the end of the day, that's it. You get a piece of paper that says, if this happens, we'll pay the claim. And I think what you need to have in our world is you need to have, respect and trust for the people that you're engaging with, hopefully as well. We talk a lot about traditional values in our business. You have to, we do the old school stuff well. So, you pick up the phone to someone in our business, you're going to get to speak to that person, they're going to phone you back. All the basic things like the fundamentals of giving good service and everything. But we also really, really understand the sector. And I think for us, we do, general insurance, commercial insurance and everything, but, recruitment, umbrella, payroll, all these areas are real sort of specialisms for us. But, we know the sector, but what we've tried to do, or what we think we've been really successful in doing so far is, we're competing in the market with a lot of businesses, much bigger businesses, that have been doing this for 20 years and are still kind of selling the same products as they were 20 years ago. And the reality is, as you know, the recruitment world has changed beyond all recognition in that. So, small one-man bands, small entities, we talk about global placements now, and actually most products and policies aren't ready for that. There's a lot of people out there that are not getting the right cover, not getting the right support. I'm monopolising, like Gary's our real expert on this. So, like I'm talking now, but I think, the point for us is, we are a smaller business, but we really know our stuff. We deliver, value service. We've got our own products. We've been doing this in big corporate roles for 30 years, so we're as connected in the insurance market as any of our competitors. We've got our own set of products that in some ways, outperform others, are right for the, the environment that we operate in today and tomorrow, not yesterday. And that's kind of where it all came from, really. I think just filling that sort of gap and that void out there.
I want to come back to that bit. You've got your own products, because that's unusual for effectively a brokerage to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll come back to that, but Gary.
So I'm the commercial director at Gazelle, new Gaz, I think it was. So I've worked in the insurance sector for 22 years, but I spent the last 12 to 13 of those just in that recruitment sector.
Okay.
So to bring it, to bring it back to what Gary said, it sounds cliche, but it's those kind of traditional values. I love nothing more than going to see a client. I spoke to somebody last week who, they haven't seen their broker in years, really want somebody to come out and see them. And the main thing he said to me was, I'm tired of dealing with different people. I want someone to come out and see me, and I want to know they're the person coming out to see me for the next 5 years. And that's what somewhere like kind of Gazelle offers.
That's an accountability piece as well, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's that trust.
It's, like you say, you're selling trust. Now, I can't trust a business, because a business is an entity. It's a limited company. I don't know who that is. I need to know who I hold to account when shit does go wrong. And if things aren't quite right, I need to be able to go, it's your fault. Or to go, oh mate, thank you so much for sorting that.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's been the people who work through it together, not being a name on an email, actually being a face who comes out, literally drives to your office.
To a different department. There's a different department.
I'm here to help you.
And it's, our name's in the title, right? So, boy with the sort of the why we called Gazelle, But yeah, look, it's our business. I set it up, but the guys and girls that work in the business now, we're a team of people that generally know each other from the market, have worked together, or a couple of the girls that joined the team. My daughter used to work with, so my daughter worked in insurance and recommended it, and I'm like, oh, these guys, they're just amazing. But culturally, we all have the same values, and that's the most important thing. Like, we really want to deliver for clients and all that good stuff. And I think, look, insurance is not sexy. It is quite a dull subject. We host a podcast talking about insurance, but no, we don't. We host a podcast talking to business leaders, talking to people in our food chain, in our network that actually can offer advice, support. And what we want to do is talk to other business owners out there that have got similar challenges. And I think wherever you sit across the sort of business spectrum, we've all got 80% of our challenges are the same. The 20% are specific to the nuances of the area that you want to work in. Just so happens that we've got umpteen years experience in our team. If you include the other guys in the team, probably 30 or 40 years experience of working with the recruitment sector on insurance. So it is an area that we kind of promote the most, because not only, and I think this is a really important thing, we talked about the own products, and this is the key for us, is the markets that we deal with, the insurers that we deal with, know me and Gary, they know the team. So whilst they have to deal with some of the big guys out there, of course they do, right? They're sharing millions of pounds with them. They want to deal with people like us. They want to deal with entrepreneurs that have got ideas, that have got, innovative thought processes, different kinds of distribution, different kinds of networks, and actually people that they trust. And I think that's the important thing for us, is while we're selling trust to a client, the last thing I ever want them to think is we just sort of go into any old insurer, placing a risk. What we're doing is we're dealing with people in the market that trust us, we trust them. And these are relationships that have been born out of the last 15, 20 years. The great thing about, I think,
you're connecting the right people to the right business owners, aren't you? That's the point here. Because you will have business owners that are a bit hands off. Look, I don't particularly care. I know I need to have this sort of insurance or that sort of insurance. I like you guys, but don't really give a shit about the insurance company. I'm not loyal to them. So just get me, I'm price driven or I'm product driven, whatever it might be. And that's the role that you guys are playing, where, listen, we'll do all the research so you don't have to. And then we'll know, you're going to get on with these people and actually, you have some business owners that maybe aren't very good at admin, or haven't got their ducks in the line.
And as long as we know what those drivers are, then we can help people with that. And it's the most important thing really is just getting that time with people. It's people who value the insurance and getting it right. And even if it is price driven, we can look at a market and help you with that. If it's cover, if it's service, it's about understanding that underlying driver, so we can help with that.
And I think kind of, almost the last insurance point for me, or the big insurance point for me, is when people are buying truck, if I've got a business and we're insured to the hilt with everything, we pay a lot. We pay more than I'd want to pay for my insurance. I've got to be really honest, probably more than most of our clients do, because we're giving advice and all that kind of stuff, so PI and whatever else. And in insurance broking, that's really quite expensive, because if it goes wrong, really goes wrong, if someone gives bad advice in our world, then we've seen multi-million-pound claims and things. So we pay a premium for that. But I think from our perspective. I stand up, we're involved in a lot of networking things, a lot of, whether it's on the podcast or anything else, we stand up and say, we don't want to engage with people, and I mean this seriously, that think about insurance as a commodity, who only want to think about it once a year. When it comes around to renewal, 3 days before, my price is this, can you do better than that? Because quite frankly, we're not probably the right business for those guys. I'm not saying that we don't just have transactional relationships and things, and we do people's insurance in that way, but for us, it's actually what we're doing is de-risking that business. That's the important thing. So if you're running a business, no matter what that business is, there's an element of risk that if something goes wrong, you're fucked.
What do you think drives those sorts of behaviours? Because hands up, when I ran my recruitment business, that was me.
Yeah.
We would go, what's the cheapest? What's the absolute lowest that we can get this versus the maximum level of cover, and then we'll kind of settle somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
What do you think drives, in your experience, in the combined experiences that you guys have got, what drives that kind of behaviour?
Well, I think it's comfort, because you can have an insurance policy for 10 years and not use it. So you get comfortable, and actually it's not about what you're getting back from it. It's actually, can I just squeeze that price down? Because it's just a bill that I pay every year. And I'm not saying I want people to have claims, but actually when somebody does have a claim, it does actually show them the value in the product. And then it does become like a different mindset. It's actually, it helped me when I needed it. It's really important to make sure this is okay.
And I think I would bring it back to, recruitment's a really good example, right? Because it's an industry full of entrepreneurs, right? We know that, and actually quite a lot of young entrepreneurs that have maybe never been educated in insurance, never actually dealt with a broker, they've bought the products online, whatever else, and we see that all the time. And look, again, fine, that that is what that is. I totally understand that, and maybe I'd have the same attitude towards IT or something else that we buy in our business, and we sat on an IT podcast like, no, you must have this. So I get that, and I think we're not trying to turn it into something that's confusing. At the end of the day, you're not paying a load more because you've got the right cover. You've just got the right cover, and that's the important thing. So I want to talk to a business and say, what are your goals for next year, the next 12, 18 months? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? Oh, well, we've got a couple of placements going on in the US, blah, blah, blah. We might go to Saudi Arabia, we might do this. We're having those conversations every day. Right, okay. Just so you know, you do realise if this happens over there, actually technically you're not allowed to trade, right? So certain things, people don't have certain covers, EL, right? It's a legal requirement. They might not have PI, giving advice. That's, a real serious situation. And if you're going to these territories that are far more litigious or actually want to put you on the hook for it, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the client, but we have a client that runs events in the Middle East. The conversations with him around, you do know if you're at one of these events and it goes pear-shaped, the rules are a little bit different there. If something happens, don't be phoning me from a jail cell in Saudi Arabia saying, Gary, can we sort this out? I can't help you at that point.
You're going to get one phone call. Do not make me that phone call, because I ain't answering it.
I could have helped you out.
The minute I see that door code,
exactly.
But it's that accountability word you used earlier. If I have the time to sit down with a business owner or business leader and understand the business, then that accountability is on me to make sure it's insured correctly. Yes. If you don't put in that time and that effort into it, then if something goes wrong, the onus is actually on you to tell me rather than me to sit down and ask the right questions.
And then absolutely. And then in times of need, what you don't want from the people that you've trusted is for them to hold their hands up. Well, you never told us that.
Yeah.
Well, you never asked. Where's the accountability then sit, right?
Yeah.
But so it sounds like actually your job is not say mainly, but a lot of your job then is educating people on the importance of the different things. Because as you say, if you've had this insurance for 10 years and you've never claimed on it, you kind of each passing year, the importance of it and the reasons why you picked it are kind of diluted each time. And if then you kind of just go in, this is just a bill I have to pay, so actually let me run the price down, and you're not renewing it. 10 years ago, you set up your recruitment business and you were doing a handful of placements, and that was great and cute. Now you've got a team. Now you're placing, what do they call it now? It's like a global economy, right?
Yeah.
You're literally
Yeah.
placing people in
Yeah.
the US from sat in your pants in your living room sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that comes with different requirements and loops and
Yeah.
hoops that you've
Yeah.
got to jump through.
Yeah.
But if you're still going, no, I've got my insurance,
Yeah.
we sorted it
Yeah.
10 years ago, and I've just
Yeah.
renewed it year on year because the price was good.
Yeah.
You kind of just
It's one of the
lining
big
yourself up
problems,
for problems.
we see in that I can go see somebody who's been in business 5 years, 7 years. Okay, let me see your policy. Like, holy crap, what's this? This isn't your business. And yeah, it is a big thing. Like, you've got to tackle it early and review it as you go along.
But one of the reasons this podcast exists, on ours, not yours, on our side, is about education. So I think for us,
But it's the same as the reason why.
well, I know that's what podcast is, right? So that's what
the whole
it
purpose
is.
in me setting up what I'm doing now was because I ran, grew, scaled, and then failed a recruitment business.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I could go in now, I'm going to be a Ned and give business advice to people and charge people for it. Or I can just go, actually, let me fucking try and educate as many people as possible and platform good people with good propositions and sort of say, these are people that I didn't even know about when I was running my agency. So there's no reason for you to know about them.
Massively.
Because your marketing reach will only go so far. So that's exactly why the medium of things like podcasting work so well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're clearly some way behind you in terms of our audience. I'm looking at that with some serious envy. But yeah, no. So I think from our perspective, we engage lots of different people on our podcast, but generally speaking, our biggest area of kind of success and knowledge base in the business is the recruitment world and the sort of sectors that surround it, umbrella, those kind of things. And I think, we use this as a medium. We've had somewhere between 250,000 and 500,000 people watching our podcast, so we know that some people, my mum can only watch it so many times, but people are listening, and we're having people engaging with us on the back of it to say, that conversation, like, people are either a little bit intimidated by their insurance, think that every broker's a shyster, think that you can just do it online nowadays. And there's a lot of, every Uber driver in this country has got a negative experience about insurance. So I don't tell them I work in insurance anymore, right? So you have a conversation, people used to say dinner parties.
I work in an office.
I don't get invited to dinner parties anymore. So, but I think
I self-trust.
funerals, whatever, right? Whatever, yeah, exactly.
Gary's fucking weird, mate. He won't give you a straight answer as to what he does for a living.
He's over there trying to sell some trust in the corner. What's he on about?
He drives a nice car. Sells trust.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell does he do?
He's a snake oil salesman, and that's kind of the thing, right? I think there's everyone's got a bad story, and it's probably not even your story. It's your dad's mate at the pub, or whatever it is, right? Everyone's got a bad story about insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, I got robbed by this. And I say this a lot to anyone that clients, prospects who want to slag off their insurance company and whatever else. Say, look, an insurance broker is there to give, like a solicitor, like an accountant, like if your solicitor says, right, you're going to court today, what I suggest you don't say is this, what you do say is this. These are the things that you should do. Similar thing with an insurance broker. Now, you go into those at a point of, the solicitor maybe when there's a massive life-changing event, or when it's, your accountant because you have to do, because your tax bill's due. And it's the same with your insurance broker. But listen to this, and if I guess from my perspective, if any of the audience members on ours, your podcast, are listening, it's going, well, I've got a recruitment business that I set up 5 years ago that I now do, actually we put a load of people in offshore roles recently, or we've placed people in, Northern Europe. Bear in mind Brexit and things like that have changed the rules from an insurance perspective as well. So, or I'm looking at getting into America, which loads of people do. We actively encourage people to do that, and we quite often we support them by introducing
you connected
people.
enough to be able to be like, actually,
That's what
you
I
to
wanna
these
do.
guys. Yeah.
It doesn't take you any longer to have a 20, 30-minute conversation, sometimes a 15-minute conversation with a good broker and say, look, this is what I'm going to do in my business. Am I covered for that? We get your paperwork. We have a lot to say, no, but if you do this, you are. And it's not about us trying to get a load more cash for it. It's generally about us making sure that the people that we engage with are happy with our engagement, because we'll get loads more cash by them saying, actually, Gazelle have been really good for us. Yeah. I would suggest you go and speak to those guys. Word of mouth in our industry is still, the be all and end all, really. So for us, the education on the podcast, the conversations, the chats we have with clients, we don't want to make it a big, boring, unnecessary process. We just want to have a chat, hopefully with somebody that you listen to, you trust, whatever else, and says, look, my advice is this is what you do, based on the umpteen thousand recruitment businesses that I've insured.
The parallels, right, between a recruitment agency and what you guys do.
Yeah.
In that there are some that will see using a recruitment agency as just a necessary evil. I have to use an insurance broker. I'm price driven, right? And those agencies are out there, and they charge 12%, 10%,
Yeah.
15%, dare I say, and we'll do a transactional service. See you later, Mr. Client. Thank you very much for your business. Hopefully, see you soon.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got the ones that are out there that are going, no, we want to be seen as trusted advisors. We want to be seen as an integral part of your business. We want to be seen as like, when you need us, we're there. We're a professional service. And that's all the things that you're saying, right? Which is, look, you need the insurance, but is it not better to have the right level of cover in the eventualities that something goes wrong than to be sat there scratching your head going, oh crap, okay, actually.
And if it goes wrong with the hire, it goes wrong, you know what you've had to pay out and everything else. If it goes wrong with your insurance, hopefully it's just a small claim, it's a few grand. If it goes really wrong, like if you do give the wrong advice, if you give the wrong advice in the wrong territory, suddenly you might think that jurisdiction over in Texas has got no hold. Oh, they have, right? The world is a small place now, so your business is in real trouble. And I think, what we want to do is make sure that good businesses thrive, entrepreneurs thrive. They don't have to think about it because we think about it for them. We give them that support. And look, again, like we talk about traditional values. I was brought up in a small town where my first job in insurance, people used to come in our office, see us, shake their hand, do the deal. Off you go. They knew that he's the insurance guy, she's the insurance lady, and it was great. And we kind of have that sort of value to us. So we're mates with clients. We have a beer with clients. We love playing golf with clients.
This is where it's all moving back to, because the number of recruitment businesses
Yeah.
that I'm speaking to at the minute that are doing exactly that.
Yeah.
They're getting back out to see their clients. They are wining and dining them. They are spending time with them outside of the environment of a transactional. Hey, what do you need? Okay, cool. Let me go find that. It's a let's plan. Let's work together. Let's educate you. Let's upskill your teams. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, right, tell me about these products that you've got then, that you guys have kind of sort of custom created that a recruitment business will need. Because again, there'll be that much misinformation out there, but also lacking information out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's important to understand what exists that people maybe just don't even realise, right?
Yeah, well, of course, recruitment businesses, they're so diverse. They do so many different things, so entrepreneurial. Like Gary's touched on a couple of things, expanding overseas, taking on contracts that are a bit outside of the normal. And it's important that there are products out there to deal with that. So most kind of products out there, you speak to them, I'm expanding to the US, we can't do that. Oh, I've got to call somebody else. And then it's kind of call the next insurance broker, and you end up just calling insurance brokers until somebody can do it. So it's about kind of like staying ahead of the curve, recognizing what your clients are telling you, what people are doing, and then making sure there's a product whereby, yeah, great, we've got a product for that. It's not off the shelf, we've created it for businesses like yours. But outside of that, we've got the products, but if that doesn't fit, we'll do something else for you. It's very, very rare that somebody says, can you do this? And we say, no. It's either yes or give me a couple of days. I'll go away and work it out for you. Because, it's at the moment, we've got the USA, we've got Canada, people expanding to, I've got Sweden, Netherlands, Cyprus on my desk. I've never arranged insurance in Cyprus before, but I'll work it out, right?
Because if I don't, some other bastard's going to.
Exactly. And I hate saying no. I want to be the solutions guy, not the you've got to call somebody else guy.
Yeah. And I think on that, like, insurance doesn't move that quickly. Like it's like lava in a lot of ways. And I think the insurance companies, traditional underwriters, traditional businesses have been very happy that things just sort of plod along as they are. But actually, there's a load of businesses not like that out there. They're real innovators that actually want to take a market share. So they want to work with people that know that market. So they go, well, how do we create something that's right? And if they went off and tried to do it, they'd miss the mark because they don't know the market. So they want to work with people who know the market and go, well, actually, this is the problem. Our client, US, well, that's a bit. Well, I know, but that's where the market's going, right? Yeah. So they're doing this, whether we like it or not. So why don't we try and find a solution to make it?
Is it not your job to make sure they do it within safe guidelines and are covered, right? As opposed to just going, I wouldn't do that.
100%. I think that's where, as Gary says, look, we're an insurance broker. We deal with hundreds of insurance businesses that people would never heard of, and that we get all that. We have our own in-house products with insurers that we've created. We've been the sort of brains behind those. They're ultimately the capacity for us. So if something goes wrong, it's had the sort of flair of the front end, and it's got the experience and that of the back end from an insurance perspective.
But that's the risk solutions part of what you do, though,
massively,
right?
yeah.
Because again, I think, and I understand why you can present yourselves as insurance brokers, right? But the reality is that you're not just brokering deals. You're coming up with, okay, actually, there's a trend here. There's this direction the market's moving. We need to go and find and present that to the insurers and say, listen, we need this covering, and you need to package it in such a way that we can then, present that to our clients. I have a saying on my podcast where certainly in the last sort of 3 to 5 years, the reason somebody chooses to or doesn't choose to do business with you is down to one of two things, the 2 C's. Yeah. I'm a big wrestling fan, as you probably know. Love it. And this is actually from somebody in the wrestling world called Jim Ross. The 2 C's, the reason people aren't happy is either cash or creative, right? If it's a cash issue, walk away. Yeah. Right? You want to charge me $2,000, I only want to pay $1,000. We're going to, we'll meet in the middle, go 1,500 quid. I'm still pissed off because I've got to pay more than what I wanted to. You're still pissed off because you've made less than what you wanted to. If it's a C, if the C is the cash, walk away, right? You're never going to win that battle. Yeah. But the creative, that's the bit where you can go, actually, I need a little bit more of this, less of that. Yeah. Don't really want to do that. Can we do a bit more of this and a bit less of that? And can you do, we can make that happen. Yeah. That seems, from where I'm sat, is the world that you guys are operating in that creative space of, okay, what do you need? Forget, here's option A, B, C, which one suits you the best? What can you bend yourself into? It's, well, what do you need for your business? Yeah. And how seriously are you taking these things? Because actually, if you're going to sit there and be like, you know what? I'd like to be insured to do work in the Arab Emirates. Yeah. Okay. Have you made placements there? Yeah. Have you got traction there? Have you got any intention to make a placement there? No. So why the would you pay more for your insurance? Because you might like to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Why don't we look at the things that you are doing as a business and you have a steady roadmap for? Yeah. And that then comes to education piece, right? To go, listen, you can't just wake up one morning, have a shower, and go, I'm going to place candidates in Dubai. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? You've got to really think about these things. You've got to plan. Yeah. You've got to make, land and expand options. Are you using an employer record? What are you doing? Because again, as your insurance partner, we can introduce you to these people. Of course. We'll help you get your legals up to scratch. We'll help you find the right umbrella companies to partner with to make sure that your candidates are paid on time and appropriately. 100%. Because actually, underwriting all of that is, well, your insurance ain't going to cover you if you cut corners in these spaces. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Again, we're not trying to monetize our food chain by introducing people. We just want to introduce people to good people that we trust and are market leaders and that kind of thing. But I think the point with this for me, which people lose so much, like you look at it from a pure risk reward perspective. Mm-hmm. If I was setting up a recruitment firm right now, I'd 100% be wanting to get into global, right? I'd be doing stuff all over the place. Because let's be honest. The market in the US, as the viewers know very well, there's so much opportunity for really good UK businesses that have got the right nous, got that experience of trading in a tough environment, right? Yeah. To go and do it over there where there's so much more space and opportunity, and some hurdles, but as long as you know what you're doing to overcome those hurdles, I would 100% be jumping into that space. Cyprus, all day long, pop out there a couple of times a year, brilliant. But all those kind of things, you'd be thinking like an entrepreneur, thinking, right, I want to do that. So our job is to enable that, right? From a risk-reward perspective, you might be placing 20 IT tech guys over there on $200,000. Oh. we won't get that on there. Yeah, we'll give you some intention in a minute. It's got a mind of its own. Yeah, you might be placing, you might have a great contact out there, whatever. You're not going to be placing three bar staff at Hooters, are you? Let's be honest, right? They can probably do that locally. So, you're going to get there into your sector, your area of specialism where there's a massive opportunity. You might be paying a couple of grand for your insurance. From a risk-reward perspective, what are you even arguing about here, right? What are you even thinking about? Because you've put on your balance sheet, because like you said, when you had your business, and I totally get it when people do, all right, well, I paid £500 for my insurance, I'll just leave £500 in my balance sheet forever for my insurance. What do you mean it's £6,000? What are you talking about? It's crazy. Your business is now trading in Europe, it's trading in the Middle East, it's trading in the US, you'd place it. So you haven't got a £500 a year business anymore. No, that's the thing. It's like all of your costs. Unfortunately, as a business owner, your IT costs are going to go up year on year because you're going to keep hiring staff, and the bastards all want a laptop, right? Do you think? How much do you think this is down to the fact that insurance has always been, from a personal life perspective, insurance is always price driven, right? Price comparison websites for insurance, drill down the price, lower the cover as much as you can. That kind of thing. Yeah. And I see this happen all the time where people make that same mistake in business. They don't see it from the point of view of, well, actually, that cost for the year is a fraction of what I'm going to make if this level of cover is sufficient, right?
Yeah.
We see it all the time. So I'll talk to people who maybe, you mentioned laptops. Oh, I've damaged the laptop, but if I claim, it'll go up. Doesn't really work that way in the commercial world. I'm not saying it might not go up a little bit, but it's not. Oh, you've
might not claim and it'll go up anyway.
No claims bonus.
It
So
might not,
if you've had a loss, claim.
But it's that mentality, isn't it? It's that, it's only a dink, I'll spray it myself sort of thing, right? Versus, like with the commercial insurance model, and I learned this far too late, was exactly that the price might go up anyway. Whether you like it or not, because actually trading conditions have changed, the market conditions have changed, the risk level in the markets you operate in have changed, and they're all out of your control. And this isn't just because 6 cars on your road got stolen, so all your car insurance is going up. This is because of like far more complicated conversations that are happening, right? So you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're like, well, if you just claim it on your insurance, if you've got the insurance. You've got to kind of calibrate your attitude towards it.
You're right. I think, again, I go back to, and I'm the same as everybody else. Nobody wants to pay for their insurance, right? No. If if you want to buy a luxury car or a nice watch or something, you're going to get some value out of it. You perceive that value. The fact that you think you're Billy Big Bollocks driving around your Range Rover or whatever else, and actually most people don't look at you any differently or whatever. But for you, you think there's a personal sense of well-being and everything else for having it. I absolutely advocate buying nice cars. I like nice cars, right? All for that. So you're seeing value for that. So it might be a cash thing. Can I afford it? Can I not afford it? But you might haggle. You might not haggle. You might be happy with your price. Harder to haggle with the financial institution at the end of the day sometimes, and it's not about that. Your broker might be able to find you a bit of a saving, and good brokers often can. And of course, we do everything we can. People think that, and this is why we often work on fees rather than commission stuff. So we're very transparent. We'll earn this.
Well, you have to be, though,
right? Well, we have to be anyway. But just so you know, whether you pay $5 grand, $10 grand, $20 grand, this is what we earn. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to flog you something you don't need. What I'm trying to do is lead you down a path of something that you do need, if your business is going to do that. If it's not going to do that, fine. But people don't see the value. The only time you see the value out of insurance is that sad time when you have to deal with an insurance claim, which is possibly the most horrible time for a lot of businesses, because generally speaking, as you say, the little dinks, the little thing, people don't claim for. But if you have a massive BI risk or you have a huge PI or whatever else, talking insurance terms now, but if somebody wants to sue you because of bad advice that you've given, and suddenly you're getting solicitors' letters and fees coming through the door, it's like, oh my God, that's going to bankrupt your business. Right? That's going to bankrupt your business. And I might start again and whatever else, but all your good faith, everything that you've
If you're a small
created,
business, maybe you weren't liable, but just responding to those letters, getting a solicitor,
it's cost, energy,
the headache, and actually, it's funny, isn't it? Because I feel like we, as a nation, have a really poor relationship with insurance. With money in general, but certainly with insurance, we have a very poor understanding of what it is. We have a very poor relationship with it, and we don't give it the importance that it needs and deserves. But then coupled in with that is sort of cyber crime is on the rise, massively, right? And we're recording this during like Cyber Awareness Month or whatever. Right, but cyber is one of those things where having your data held to ransom could cost you millions. But people don't realise, and I didn't realise this until recently, that you can have insurance that protects you against that. So when you in the eventuality that your data is held ransom and they go, no, we want this, you have insurance that will cover you. And allow you to then go back to trading. And people are like, oh, well, we're not Marks and Spencers, we're not Jaguar, we're not going to get cybercrime, right? And what people don't, this was the bit that really made me laugh, was sort of, actually, we've all had this where you look around your team and we know who it is that is likely to respond to an email that comes from an outside pretending to be the boss, or downloads an attachment. We know who it is. We can identify that person. We know exactly who that person is. That's the fucker that is going to end up shutting my business down if they get a cybercrime attack. But that's what happens. These guys download these things, and the cyber criminals are able to access your entire database, and they don't need to do anything with that information short of hold it ransom and say, listen. Pay me and I'll let it go.
Cyber is, we were talking to somebody the other day. We're talking about, fraudulent transaction between the UK and the US for like £500,000, right? And it seemed so genuine, and the phone calls were, oh, it's fine, we'll phone you. Look, they're so sophisticated. I think all you need to know, if you think about cyber, so cyber insurance is something we've been talking about for a number of years. It's been out products for years. People didn't used to buy directors and officers or management liability insurance, which we talk about now a lot, and a lot of businesses, most directors will now, because when they realise, oh, I'm personally at risk. Yeah. Is that what you mean? Or I'm personally, I could go to jail. I could have $1 million. Oh, right, yeah, I need that then. And cyber is a similar thing. Like, you read about, some of these big sites, and it's like, never happened to us. I think the only thing you need to know about cyber is it's not illegal in Russia to be a hacker, right? Yeah. It's only illegal to hack Russian websites. Yeah. So there's one of the biggest nations on earth who, depending which side of the fence you sit on, are not really friendly with us all the time, are there creating, and there's a lot of these environments, these pretty dangerous environments from a UK and a US perspective, and all these kind of things that are spending their life, they're training people how to go and hack. And they're not all trying to hack Marks and Spencers who pay millions for cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff. They're hacking SMEs that they can hold to ransom for 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, which might absolutely fuck up your cash flow, which means you can't pay your salaries, which means you, as a business, you're screwed, right? You can't pay that, whatever that might be. So at the risk of, kind of rising attack or something on Gazelle here with the fallout with the Russian state, I'm not saying it's only the Russians that do it, but those kind of things, if you understand that.
Again, people think cyber and they think big business and hackers sat in trying to, do you know what? When you have time, go on things like Reddit and 4chan.
Yeah, 100%.
There are kids out there who do this shit just for fun. Literally just for fun.
A lot of them are doing it for fun.
And again, we're in an industry where, unfortunately, we have to deliver a lot more bad news than we do good news, right? Only one person gets the job of the 6 candidates that you send forward or have an interview and so on and so forth. It isn't hard to upset the wrong person. And if that wrong person then decides, do you know what? I don't like you as an agency. I don't like how you spoke to me. I don't like the fact that you didn't give me feedback. I'm gonna fuck shit up for you for just for shits and giggles. Because I can. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the bit that I think not enough people put emphasis or importance on, because for so long it hasn't happened to me.
Well, you're also seeing employees stealing data as they leave.
Right.
So
exactly.
It can be intentional employees. It can be employees who've left.
That's it. The liability piece is an important one as well, and then you've got all of the other stuff with the legislation changes happening, right? Where if you pick the wrong umbrella company and they haven't been doing what they're supposed to be doing, you could be held liable for that. Now, you might need to have a robust insurance policy that's going to be there should you need it, because you did all the things that you thought you were supposed to do, and the umbrella company still did the wrong things, and now you're left with the bill, because guess what? HMRC wants paying. Whether it's you or you that pays it, I don't care.
Absolutely. I think just I said the last thing on insurance a while ago, but we can talk about insurance. It's cool. I think insurance is sexy. Just one other thing from our, talking to the audience of recruiters out there. Insurance is also something that can help you on from a bottom line perspective. So businesses like ourselves, we have products, and we'll talk about it on another podcast in more detail, I'm sure. But our products that we sell, actually recruitment companies are our target audience as introducers for that. So not only do we want to engage with recruiters and help them in terms of their own placements and their own risk and help them negate that, take that away, but actually what we also want to do is via them sell to their client base. So you've got equip them to monetize the food chain. So from our perspective, those dealing with self-employed contractors, obviously those guys need insurance. So we've got a solution, again, talking about our own innovative solutions. And look, we're not the first out there to do it. It's been done before, but we're the newest that's got something different, newer, more about today than yesterday.
This comes back to, though, the mentality, right? So I've been saying this a long time, recruitment is not a sales job, it's a professional service. And if you operate it as a professional service, what you tend to find is you spend more of your time, educating your clients and your candidates and giving them value without the need for a transaction there and then.
Yeah.
But then further to that, you can very quickly move to a model where actually, rather than working contingent recruitment model and doing all this shit for free, you end up being able to productize elements of what you do because you've got such a good relationship with your clients that you're like, listen, I know you want to do this part onwards. I'll do all the heavy lifting. I'll get you shortlist across and that kind of thing, and I'll work with you. That becomes yet another part of that, which is, listen, these guys are our insurance brokers.
Yeah.
They're on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are taking on 10, 15, 20 contractors for this sprint.
Yeah.
Can we just arrange a webinar, get Gary to jump on,
Here's a link.
give them things that they need to know about,
Exactly, yeah.
upskill their understanding and stuff, and hey, if they decide to take an insurance product, they can do it through these guys as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that's
and
a professional service.
It absolutely is. And the introducer in that instance, let's be honest, we're talking to entrepreneurial businesses, we'll get an introducer fee for that, right?
Yeah.
And not only one, they'll get 100 or 1,000, whatever it is that they've got. And I think just by, no, we're not asking anyone to recommend, we're asking people to advise. Say, and again, it's part of that advice, the same way that we would, look, you know, these are people we work with, we think they're great. You know, here's a link to buy off them if you want to buy from them, and that's it. And end of.
The model works
because they're going to talk to people anyway.
The model works. The model
conversation?
has worked for years outside of the recruitment industry, with affiliate marketing and with partnerships and that kind of thing. This is the exact model that I work on with Rectools, which is, look, I'm not going to sell your product for you. That's your job, right? All I'm going to do is put the right people in front of you and go, listen, if you guys want to and you like the sound of what they're saying and you believe in what they're presenting, go and have a chat. Because that will lead to something.
And it's making sure it's right for you as well. So it's, people who need medical malpractice insurance, people working on offshore oil rigs, people working in nuclear aviation. It's because if that recruiter gets a copy policy from the contractor, do I know it's right? Not really, but I'll tick it off. It's got the right numbers on it. But we can make sure it's right for those sectors as well.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts.
Okay.
Let's move to wrapping it up. Any advice, any trends you're seeing, anything, words of wisdom that you can drop for people to be inspired or to be like,
inspired.
Good.
My word.
You know what I mean?
My word. Okay, inspired. Good. Look, I think it's the theme of kind of our discussion. It's the theme of a number of our podcasts when we talk to people who are, shit at what they do in their sector, and we think that people should be talking to them. We're going to link people to the right people. From our perspective, look, we're slightly different to a lot of insurance brokers because they can't really come on podcasts and talk like this because their US compliance departments or whatever else wouldn't allow it to happen. We're not saying anything wrong. We're just opening a conversation and having some interesting discussion and debate. But I think from our perspective, look, all we want to do is generally help people get on with their business better. We've done this for 30 odd years. We're going to be around for the long term. We're not a business that's got private equity backers or changes in we're not a business that's going to flip or all that kind of thing that we in our world. We're in a world of constant aggregation and change. M&A activity is just crazy. We're the anti that. We've come out of that environment to run a business that this is my last job. I keep saying this, so I better make it work. This is my last job in the industry, and it's also been my best job so far. So we're a fun environment that just want to help. Right? If you want to buy insurance from us and want a bottle of gin with it, we've got our own gin brand as well. That's handy. Of course we have. Yeah, we're all also.
Why is that not on the table? I need to talk to your marketing guy, man. This is stuff that
you're talking to him.
Right.
We do.
That needs to be on the table.
So the gin's been on a number of our podcasts, and the gin's been inside a number of our podcasts as well. But we've tried to that next time. We'll sort that out. But I think, look, for us, we are an insurance broker at the end of the day. It is what it is. So I'm not sure there's words of inspiration. Get good advice. My advice to anybody that's running a business, I spend my life, we're 2 years old Gazelle this weekend, we're celebrating that, all good. I thought I knew how to run a business when I was getting paid to do it for somebody else. Right? You learn an awful lot in doing it for yourself. There's a lot of challenges out there. Just de-risk the ones that you can de-risk. And I don't just mean your insurance, right? That's an easy sell. De-risk yourself. Get good advice. Legislation, things are changing, in our food chain, the next few months. Get good advice. If you're not sure, get good advice. A 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute conversation between just good people in the market that generally want to help you. Just get good advice. And, we're not going to sell to everyone we speak to, and we don't have to. If you see us at an event, if you want to chat, want to give us a call, drop us a text. Honestly, we don't mind. We really are here to help. It monetizes itself when you're good at what you do. But actually for us, my advice to anybody that runs a business out there is de-risk your business and get good advice, whatever that looks like.
It's one thing we've seen on our podcast is the people you speak to, actually the good ones. You just want to help people and give them that right advice. They're not really kind of sitting down and saying, this is what I do, buy it. We just actually genuinely want to help people.
Sound, right?
Yeah.
No, I love that. I think you guys embody the saying that I have been pushing for the last couple of years, which is that people buy from people like them, or people buy from people they like.
Yeah.
That's it.
Outstanding. Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
It is as simple as that. Relatability or likability, and I think you're absolutely right. Is like the key here is education, right? The more you educate people, and this applies to recruitment business owners from a perspective of to your clients and your candidates too, right? In how you run your business. You shouldn't be selling right now.
Yeah.
Right now, the market is not ripe for selling. What right now is ripe for is education and really expanding that value proposition of what you do as a, as a business, so that when things do start to turn again and start picking back up, you're top of mind for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Not because you spam the arse off them and you were the one that was constantly trying to sell things.
Yeah.
But actually you were delivering value every step of the way. Because like you say, you put enough good shit out there, things start to kind of cover themselves, it's not hard, right?
Absolutely.
Gents, I've thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yeah, fantastic, thank you.
It's been good to get to know you a bit better. I expect the bottle of gin here next.
Yeah, we'll get it next time.
Don't you worry about that.
Just three flavours.
I appreciate your
Cheers,
time.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much for hosting me.
Pleasure.
Guys, that's it for another episode of RecTalk. New episodes drop every Wednesday and every Friday. Thank you for liking, sharing, watching, subscribing, doing all the cool shit that you guys do that allow me to do this cool shit for a job and get one of these. We'll see you again next time.